Good evening, everybody, and welcome for the first time in 15 months to the Columbus Lions special preseason edition of RoarTime. It has been forever. My name's Rick Jacobson. I'm here with head coach Jason Gibson, also director of football operations. And have we got a lot to cover, Coach?
Too much to cover, so let's get into it.
Okay. Well, folks, it certainly is the rarest of circumstances to lose an entire season in professional sports. We're not the only ones.
Yeah, it's been a lot of people. Crazy year with basketball and football and Arlie and hockey. It's insane. So it was a break that I didn't want, but I used it.
Well, tell us how it impacted your life personally and particularly your coaching duties with the Lions.
I realized how bad my golf game was. So no, I didn't. I'm just playing. It was just different because you were hanging on to hanging on by a thread through March. It wasn't like we knew when this originally happened. I remember the date. It was March 17th when the NBA canceled their season and the domino effect started. It wasn't like we knew right then and there we were just done. It was, let's see what happens in April. Okay, maybe we'll get to May. Okay, June 3rd is our last day. That's our cutoff date, I promise, no matter what. And then June 17th, and it just kept dragging on, and so you were such limbo, and it was difficult to, move forward. And finally we got to the point where it was like, okay, that's it. Let's go to the next season.
Here's something that I noticed during that time. I want to ask you your thoughts. I thought that our league, being perhaps the last in the country at any level of a spring-summer sport, right, the last to call our season off, showed the dedication and passion of our ownerships around the league.
Well, I mean, they wanted to play. I wanted to play. The players wanted to play. Everybody wanted to go, but it was the right thing to do. We moved on. It's kind of weird. I mean, that's the first non-arena season since '99. So it's 20, 21 years, something like that. So that was really weird, to be honest with you. I didn't really know what to do with my time.
Yeah, and certainly, the public should know we really have not been open for business.
Well, I mean, it's tough because, it's hard. One, you don't have a schedule. Everybody's still in limbo. Unfortunately, first we have a schedule now, and we'll talk about later in the show. But everybody's kind of like, what's going to happen here? And the thing about it, it's not necessarily Columbus. It's the other leagues. I mean, I'm not really worried about Georgia and us getting the arena. I'm worried about, we got a team in New York. How's that going to pan out? We got a team in California, which we'll talk about. So there's so many factors that go into it, but luckily over the last week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, things have been clearing up. We got a schedule. We've got great teams. We've got great owners. And I think things are moving forward, and we've talked to a lot of arenas. So now we're able to take everything that we usually do from September to December, cram all that up into about 3 months, exciting, right? And try to get it all done in 3 months.
One of the interesting things is that we probably got to the pandemic announcement, I'm going to say 75 to 80% of the way to opening night. So we have dozens and dozens, maybe hundreds of clients and season ticket holders who basically trusted us to leave their purchases with us and roll it over to 2021.
Well, that's what happens when you got great fans. I mean, most, and I was fortunate enough over the time that I was able to talk to every single season ticket holder for the most part. And they all said the same thing. We just want to watch football. And that goes credit to Columbus, Phoenix City, our whole Chattahoochee Valley community about the passion for arena football. I'm excited. I think it's going to be even a huge or a bigger turnout the first game, just because being off a year and you don't realize how much you miss something until it's gone, right? You don't know what you got till it's gone.
We'll talk about it later, but I actually preserved last year's, or the year that never was, the promotion schedule game by game. And we're going to have to, piecemeal fashion, reposition those events.
Right.
Everybody knows the Lions are about Cancer Awareness Night, Military Appreciation Night, our 5K autism run. There are some events that are annual and fixed that we have to position here in the coming weeks and months, but actually the 3+ months we have, maybe 4 months till opening day, could be plenty of time as it turns out.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to get on the field. So, I mean, there was so much planning in the last season as far as the events you talk about, and then now you got to start all over again. So we'll see. I'm excited about it, but it's work that I want to do. So.
And interestingly enough, wrapping up this segment, we communicate and contact our clients, and we find out what events and changes have transpired in their existence. I hate to say it, but one of my favorite clients of all time has been forced to close due to pandemic. And they battled back as hard as any company.
Right.
And I'm talking about Golden Corral, a major part of Lions.
Major sponsor, John Gilbert, his wife, what they've done for this community with Camp Corral and all the things. I mean, what a great person, what a great guy, great family.
And he had told me, I got to tell you this, I'd eaten over there a day or two before Veterans Day, where we always help them serve 2,000 veterans.
Serve the soldiers every year.
And he told me he had a coupon in mind because of social distancing. They couldn't have the flooded every
Those
table.
were long days. Wow, we would go there and help them serve, and that line was around the street for hours and hours. Yeah, but it's unfortunate for them and Golden Corral. They've been not just a great sponsor for us, just great for our community, and to see the pandemic take that away. That's unfortunate, as with some other businesses, and hopefully this thing gets cleared up, or we could be one of those too, right? I mean, it's just everybody's falling in line, but deal with what you get.
But you're right. The vast majority of our clients and sponsors have been beyond loyal and remain with us, and we can't wait. In the last few weeks, I've met some folks who are going to join us for the first time, and I'm very excited about how much new business there's out there.
Yep.
Why don't you tell us a little bit as we segue on to what the National Arena League's done with this 8-9 month period?
Talk about a roller coaster. I mean, it's been up and down, up and down. I'm not going to hold any punches on anything. And arena football is such a landscape. Who's got the better league? Who's got the better teams? You play in my league, you play in my league. At the end of the day, it's about the product. I think that's what the problem is. You got a lot of people's egos get in the way. It's just a matter of putting on a good product for the fans. Fans should come first, not your ego or what you think. Not one's better than the other. They all say that, but from an NAL standpoint, we added a bunch of teams in the offseason. We were up to 8, 9, 10 teams, and I was excited. When we had Louisville and Tampa Bay and a couple other franchises coming on board. Baltimore was coming on board. At the end of the day, the league had guidelines that were expected to be met like anything else. And, didn't meet the guidelines, we got to move on. I'll just leave it at that. And it's just unfortunate. You wish them the best of luck, but our priority is the ownerships that we have, the guys that pay the bills in the league now, and making sure that we got good partners. That's the bottom line. Do you have good partners? And so as we look at expansion going into the season for this year, obviously we picked up, we picked up Ontario. California. Mm-hmm. Everybody goes, oh, whoa, travel. You don't know what you're talking about. And that's what I enjoy. I don't get much on social media. I don't spend a lot of time on it, but I really enjoy it when people have no idea what they're talking about, and it's kind of fun to sit back. It's very entertaining. It's like reading the National Enquirer.
You need to tell them what they need to know about this.
Well, I mean, I don't ever get on social media because I don't like put my opinions on something that you can never take back. But the thing about Ontario is it's a great owner. And when you look at the travel, flying from Atlanta to LA is cheaper than me taking a bus from Columbus to Baltimore. Not
surprising, really.
I mean, so it's actually cheaper. And so they've worked out a deal. Patrick is a great owner, is an ex-NFL player, played at Oregon. He played for the Baltimore Ravens for 8 years. He has multiple businesses. Money's not the issue. I'd rather play a team in California and know that they've got great ownership and that we're going to be there than play a team, just say in Albany, Georgia. Just because what? So I can save a couple thousand on travel, but a team that's going to fold in week 8 because they have no money?
Did a little looking at the Ontario's Toyota Center.
Beautiful
Toyota
facility.
Arena. And it not only is it phenomenal, but they host 4 professional sports franchises at the highest levels of the minor leagues.
So you got a great ownership in Ontario, and then you turn around and we picked up the Albany Empire, which is defending AFL champion. I mean, you talk about Rob Keefe, former player in Columbus. Rob's a premier coach in any league he's been in. He's won championships in every league. He'll tell you.
Spokane, notably.
And wherever else they've been. Of course, they got Les Moss up there, who's an AFL legend. And then you've got one of the premier arena cities in the country, hands down. Them, Orlando. When you talk about arena football, you think of Albany, you think of Orlando. Jacksonville, of course, stuff like that. So you add those two ownerships and teams to our league, and it's not about how many teams you have. It's not about being coast to coast. It's really not. It's just really about finding good owners.
Real quickly, tell us, our viewership, what happened in the second annual effort to merge briefly with the Champions Indoor League in the Midwest?
I mean, you can't.
It's finances, folks. It's logistics, but we did attempt briefly to put together a super league that just didn't work in the end.
It's always about the business and the bottom line and the dollar and trying to make things work for the fans. That's my opinion. Other people don't see it that way. That's their opinion.
Okay, and on that note, folks, we're going to take our first break. We'll be back in just a couple minutes with Roar Time.
Thanks, Dr. J. My back feels so much better. Now tell me where I can go for my headaches.
Really? You don't need to go anywhere else. That's what we do.
Well, what about my shoulder?
That's what we do.
Pinched nerve?
That's what we do.
Well, what about disc problems?
That's what we do.
Sciatica?
With almost 500,000 patient visits over the last 34 years, don't just take my word for it. Ask a friend.
Call Dr. J. Broadwin and Associates today.
Folks, we're back with this special preseason edition of Roar Time. Again, Rick Jacobson here with head coach of the Columbus Lions, Jason Gibson. And Jason, like all football staffs, we've experienced some change in ownership ranks, very positive ones over the offseason.
Yeah, we were fortunate enough to add 2 new owners to the ownership group, which we've always prided ourselves in the fact that, one, we're one of the longest running franchises in the country. Plus, we have local ownership. I think that's a big deal. Obviously, you're part of that as well. But we were able to add Casey Smith out of Dalton. Don't kill me, Casey. I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Calhoun.
Is it Calhoun?
Yes.
Okay, Calhoun, Georgia, which is up near Dalton.
Right.
Okay, I'm close. Casey has a ton of experience. Young guy, owns a couple businesses. He's also, I think he owns Brightway Insurance.
Yes.
He's had some insurance businesses. He's had a lot of success, but he's also had a lot of success in football. If you look at his resume, he used to be a part owner of the Georgia Rampage in the Extreme Football League. And, I met Casey a long time ago, so he's been in this business, probably one of the top salespeople I know as far as being able to get out there. And you have to be able to have that mentality to do well in insurance. And he does an exceptional job with his companies. And so Casey came on with him and his family and his kids. And one of the things I loved about him is he has a passion for the game. He has a passion for sales, which is what you got to have. It's part of the business. And, I asked him, I said, why you want to get back involved, with arena football? Obviously, the Lions have some clout, but he said, you know what, when I first owned the teams earlier, my kids weren't old enough to enjoy it. And I think this is a chance for me to be able to do something get in at a smaller level, not have the whole hassle of carrying the whole load on your shoulders as an owner, which can be stressful, and be able to have his kids enjoy it.
What brought you in touch with Casey? How did you meet him?
Oh, I knew Casey from a long time ago. I don't remember how we met through footballs and tryouts, and he kind of wanted to get his foot in the door. He ran some stuff in North Atlanta, and we just stayed friends over time, and he's a great contact to have. And then when we had this opportunity to be able to expand our ownership, that's the first person I thought of, and I sent him the information, and he said absolutely. So I was excited to get him on board.
Great. And now this is not like Casey and the Bat, folks. This is Kacee.
Right.
Casey Smith of Calhoun, Georgia.
And the good thing, too, is we added another ball-headed guy to the ownership. So now you got me and Mike Hall and John. All we got to do is, get you to cut your hair off and you can fit right in. I don't want you to feel odd or feel like, we're.
Well, just myself and then our only remaining original member of ownership team,
John Hargrove.
Kudos to senior partner John Hargrove.
He was the first guy I met when I got here. We were at the quarterback club on Macon Road, and I remember meeting him the night that Kenny Stabler was talking, and that's how this whole 15-year thing just really evolved and started. Now, I know John. I don't really think he's going to shave his head and go bald. I'll ask, but it probably wouldn't look good.
Now, that quarterback club, that's a relic too. I think we used to have it at the old Harmony Club on Macon Road.
I remember that was some good times.
Which is now, if I'm not mistaken, a catering facility. Yeah. But so much has changed. How about our other international
That
owner?
is interesting. So I met Eugenio Castro through Josh through Facebook obviously you know more about Josh doing his missionary work.
Josh Blair, we're
Josh
talking
Blair,
about.
our owner, did his missionary work and his mission statement. Big BYU alum. He did it in Chile. So he's had a lot of contacts in South America. Plus he goes down and does his scuba diving. Cheap plug for Chattahoochee Scuba if you want to learn how to scuba dive, especially if you're a military guy. Get out there and go see Josh at Chattahoochee Scuba on Veterans Parkway. But so he does down there, and he goes diving in the Galapagos down there off.
That I didn't know.
Yeah, he's been down in the Galapagos swimming offshore or diving offshore. Sorry. And so anyway, we got interested and met Mr. Castro, and he owns the football academy down in Chile, and he has a lot of contacts and great guy. And he actually came on board, so we have our first international minority owner from South America, from Chile.
And we will have on the roster a little
And on the
earlier.
roster, we have Felipe Castillo, who is our first international signee. And the good thing about Mr. Castro is he helps facilitate that. And we were planning on going down there and holding 3 tryouts in 3 countries. We were going to go to Chile, Peru, and Argentina. I'm sorry, Ecuador. And the COVID kind of struck, and I talked to him this week, and they've had to put it on hold because of the restrictions. So what we're going to plan to do is go down after the season and hold those tryouts and see if we can find some international players and turn this thing even bigger than it is.
Folks, I got to tell you that one of the best, perhaps very best experience of my professional sports career was along these lines in 2004. Some of you may remember when we had the Columbus War Dogs here that we hosted Team Australia as part of the AFL's initiative to start the. It was perhaps the finest memory I have as far as it was like you read about with the Olympic athletes, the sportsmanship, the fellowship between countries. We had players from New Zealand, Australia.
I mean, that's the plan, is to take this thing international, especially getting to South America with their fan base, their passion for sports. I think arena football fits in their market, in their how they do things, and I think the NAL's wanted something. We just got to continue to push it. So getting him on board is great for the ownership.
Did I understand that the NAL created an extra roster spot per team?
They did, so we're allowed to carry on our 24-man roster, we can carry 1 extra, so it's 24 plus 1 international. So that kind of helps, and Felipe's a big kid, and it's going to be difficult. You talk about American football and kids that have been playing since they were 4 years old. I mean, my kids have been playing tackle since they were 4, and then you take South American players that maybe don't start till they're 18, 19, or 20. So it's a huge learning curve, and it's a huge obstacle. And it would be difficult, but I'm glad the league made that exception, so we don't have to sit there and try to, cut a player just simply because they're international.
Truly a big step for the worldwide impact of our sport. Let's talk a little bit about community events. I've got several. If you'd like to contribute first, we're doing some things in December.
No, you go ahead. You've got the floor, man.
Okay, the Lions are partaking in a few Christmas era events here, and the first is going to be the Lights of Heroes. Our good friend Victor Feliciano, who has also got ties to CTV Beam here. Victor is coordinating a parade, since there is no Bi-City Christmas parade this year. He's got one going from the Phoenix City Amphitheater. This is the night of Friday the 9th, and Friday, December 11th. And it's going to be a parade where people purchase a small sponsorship with their vehicles that will wrap up down Broad Street, up around Giovanna's restaurant, wind up behind Chattahoochee Brewing with sort of a street party, you might say, food trucks, live band, and raising money for the joint coalition of the Habitat for Humanity, Phoenix City, and House of Heroes. So we're trying to renovate and repair homes for veterans. A couple great organizations, and that is something that we're working hard on, creating traffic, so we have a big parade. Also, too, I'm involved in Operation Make Christmas Happen for the 2nd year in a row. That's an effort by the fundraising arm of the East Alabama Board of Realtors, located quite close to where we do this show. And they basically are raising money through gift cards and groceries and food and dinners, restaurant certificates for very impoverished families in Phoenix City. These are the Children's Advocacy Center, Family and Children's Services of Russell County come to mind, and there's at least a third organization, the Crisis Center of Russell County, all house folks who almost never can afford to get out to a restaurant and even have trouble funding their Christmas dinners. So just letting you know, we're going to be taking part of that with Team Realtor and the East Alabama Board of Realtors. Very excited about that. And our seasonal employee, Gail Tompkins, through her current ministry, Hope and Faith in Action, is hosting Angel Tree Christmas Party. For those who don't know about the Angel Tree, this takes place on December 19th, by the way, at Woodruff Farm Park in downtown Columbus. The Angel Tree program takes care of youngsters whose parents are incarcerated and they otherwise would have no access to adult companionship, food, and gifts at Christmas time. So he was part of this thing last year and was blown away about the impact that Gail and this Angel Tree Christmas program create. So we've got some Christmas activities, and it helps us kind of get back in the swing of things as far as staff involvement.
Yeah, it's been quiet. It's been quiet. And I missed the annual parade, the Bi-City Parade that goes through downtown Columbus, Phoenix City. We didn't get a chance to do that this year. They canceled that. So it's good that we got these programs, and it's something you get involved in.
Worth saying, because you did so much work on this. You taking part in Spooktacular at the Civic Center.
Ooh. Yeah, it was a good event by the Civic Center, so it was exhausting. It's exhausting that I can't really get involved with it. Halloween
event that impacted, again, a lot of folks who were not able to trick or treat in the normal fashion. So with that in mind, let's take break number 2. And in a couple of minutes, we'll come back and we'll cover a little more ground here with the Columbus Lions RoarTime Special Preseason Edition.
Imagine a life-changing injury. Imagine the fear and unknown. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team, the only physicians in the area with advanced certification in orthopedic sports medicine, treats sports injuries with innovative techniques. The Houston Clinic has helped nearly 1 million athletes live without pain. Imagine getting back in the game. Imagine the best game of your life. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team.
Welcome back, everybody, as we conclude this week's edition, actually the first preseason edition of RoarTime, the Columbus Lions Coaches Show. Head coach Jason Gibson's going to tell us what he's got lined up new for 2021.
We got a bunch of stuff lined up, but I can't give it all out, the details today. We're going to kind of ease it out week by week. But the main thing is, one thing we're going to start doing on the show now that I've learned what Zoom is and how to do Zoom, is be able to have some live interviews with some players on the show, which would be great. You know, it's really hard sometimes when they're across the country and get them. So we'll be able to get some guys on the show, talk to some of the players, figure out what they've been doing over the pandemic, what they've been doing, how they've been getting ready. I mean, you got guys, and that's what's hard for players is you spend all this time, September all the way around to March, get ready for training camp. And boom, guess what? You're not playing. And then you got to kind of mentally refocus, reset, and then start training all the way again to get ready for training camp again. And it's hard for them, but it'd be fun to be able to talk with the players. That'll be new for the year. The NAL's come out with fantasy football. We'll have fantasy football for our entire NAL league. People will be able to participate in it, choose play, just like fantasy football you play with the NFL. I think it's huge for the league. It's huge for marketing the league. It's huge for getting involved. Makes you want to watch other games. If your quarterback plays for Trenton, or Orlando, or your quarterback better play for Columbus.
How does it work logistically?
The NAL is going to unveil all the details. We've got sponsors for it. We've got the Fantasy Football Player of the Week. We've got all kinds of great things coming. It's going to be really interactive. I'm excited for our fans. I'm excited for I'm excited for the players. Mm-hmm. I wish they had fantasy football when I played, but they didn't even have internet. So, but we got fantasy football coming. We got player interviews coming, and then lastly, to kind of close it out today, what I'm most excited about is just the VIP floor seats around the arena, which you've had a chance to see, and it's going to be something that's going to change your game day experience as a fan in our arena for what we have.
And we should point out about half of our VIP seats will remain, so we've still got that type of seat for the people who love them. But part of our clientele wants the movability on the floor to have a buffet during the game. What kind of new wrinkles do you see happening?
Well, what we did was we pushed the seats up on one side, and they have 10-foot, you can call them corporate suites, private suites, it doesn't matter, but we've got custom furniture, and we got it through the NBA, and it's as nice as furniture you can get. Food till halftime, drinks till halftime, VIP access, plush seating. we got the idea from Jacksonville Sharks. They do it really well. When I was down at their games, I got a chance to talk to a couple of their fans and actually see how the suites were set up. And they put a lot of money into the fan experience and the first class and what they get for their value. I'm asking people to, spend disposable income. And what do I get for my money? And these are just great. We have 23 of them. We've already got 7 or 8 already sold.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But it's custom furniture if you do a 3-year agreement. Other than that, just a great experience, and I'm excited for that. I can't wait to set them up. I know what the feedback's going to be. And being a fan myself, to be able to sit that close to a game, sitting like we're sitting right now to the field and have that free food and free drink and all the amenities that come with it, you can't beat it. So I'm just excited.
What do you hear about the possible social distance spacing issues involved with the floor suites? Are anything that we can go by as of today?
More social distancing than we're already doing now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. With this exciting development, and of course much more to come, how about segueing into our 2021 schedule, and which helps ignite and excite people?
Yeah, I'm excited about the schedule. I know we printed it off. I don't even know who the first. We open up at Albany. I do know that. Usually I don't look too far down the schedules. I'm a coach, and that's what coaches do. So I know we open up in Albany, New York. That's going to be pretty exciting. They're coming off an AFL championship at home. They have a huge crowd, 9,000-10,000 people. It's going to be an exciting game right out of the gate, which is what I love about your schedules. You look at our schedule, we have Albany, then we come back and play our home opener against Carolina Cobras at home, which is always a good game. So, we have actually 2 games in a row with Carolina, then we play Ontario at home. I don't really look much more past the schedule. You can check it out on our website, columbuslions.net. And I'm really looking at just the first 2. I think Albany, right out of the gate, with the history they have, the players they're going to have, the coaching staff they have, is going to be a test of who we're going to be for the season. Then we come home for our home opener. We have a great record at home. I don't care really who's playing there. I think we'll be fine.
Do you anticipate Ontario with a new team being largely Western in their players and particularly good?
Absolutely. I think they're all going to be good. As you look at their schedule, with the teams in the league, you got Albany, New Jersey Flight. They're signing some great players. Carolina's got some great players, of course. Jacksonville, Orlando. So then you look at Ontario. There's not a lot of teams, so all the great players have to go somewhere. If there was 15, 16, 17 teams, the talent gets washed out a little bit. It gets kind of saturated, and all of a sudden now you don't have as many. But when you only have 7, 8 teams in the league, what we have, every team has a great quarterback, and that's what you want, is good quarterback play.
Probably worth mentioning too that we really do have an 8th team in the league. It's dormant for 2021, the West Virginia Rough Riders.
They were just sold. So we'll see how that turns out right now. But the way I count it is at 7. I got a ton of. I'm on the expansion board, so we have a lot of teams applying for 2022. But I'm worried about 2021 because if there's no 2021, there's not going to be a 2022. Sure. So a lot of stuff on our plates. I'm excited for our fans. I'm excited for our league. I'm excited for our country to get back to normal and enjoy sports and use that as a takeaway to get away from your problems. That's what sports is all about. It brings people together, and I'm excited to kick everybody's butt.
There we go. So our season will run from mid-April through late July, early August, with a championship game about the same timetable. It looks like, by my reckoning, about Saturday, August 14th, we'll crown a league champion if there's a bye week between the semis and the title game. The National Arena League is back, risen to probably premier status among all arena leagues.
I mean, it just depends on how you look at it. I mean, everybody has their own, this guy likes Ford, this guy likes Chevy. I mean, whatever. But, if you don't keep it clean, it still looks like a piece. Yeah.
Well, one thing the owners' meetings have showed me is that we have everybody in the league loves this, is doing it for the right business and athletic and passionate reasons.
So, I'm excited. And let's get this thing going. I look forward to seeing everybody next week on the show when we dive into players and dive into more of the schedule and things like that. But just to be back here sitting in the seat, we've got a new studio, which I appreciate everybody at CTV Beam. They're first class over there, and just I'm excited to get this thing rock and rolling.
Yeah, but who could have a better partner than our cable partners, CTV Beam of Phoenix City, Alabama? Anyway, Thank you for watching our first show, folks. We're excited to be back. This has been Roar Time with Rick Jacobson and Jason Gibson. See you next time, and we hope it's very soon.
Go Lions.